station, everybody, because we've got the great Herminio Reyes Jr. is in the house. Good to see you, man.
What is up, everyone? How you doing? Hope you can hear me. I got a new headset right here. I'm testing it out, see if it works really good. Let me know if you can hear me good up in the chat. How you doing? Happy Whiplash Wednesdays. Happy New Comic Book Day. Like Christmas Day. Every week for 52 times of the year, we get to have new comics every week. Always exciting. Love it all the time. New books. We all love comics. We love the old stuff too, all combined. But how's everyone doing? Whiplash Wednesday. Everybody knows how hype I get for this day. I freaking love this day. And today we have a fantastic show. So I'm gonna bring these guys in a second. But earlier, of course, we had an awesome show. Whiplash Wednesday always starts with the hashtag Blame Phable show, which we had a fantastic special two hours and change show today with some of the Bad Batch members been there, and a lot of very I'll just say my allergies was hitting a lot on that show for some reason. I don't even know. But if you guys missed it, watch it on the rewind. It was very touching. Phable's last Whiplash Wednesday show of the hashtag Blame Phable show was earlier. Sad but bittersweet because he will be back. Maybe just not on Whiplash Wednesdays, but when he gets everything together and all that, we will see him back. He will be back. Don't call it a comeback. He's been at it for years, so you know me, I can't help it. But Phable, we love you. The music to the show. Thank you so much for what you've done. Can't wait for what the future holds with the shows, with you. Can't wait to do them with you. Can't wait for everybody. Missing Link, TM, tomorrow, and all that. And since I'm talking, I usually don't skip people, but I'm gonna skip myself for a second because I know we're starting 6:30 a little later today, so I gotta giddy up. But tonight we're having another one of those big shows, the closing show, Chamorro Cinema. Having a bunch of backlog bros. What is that? I don't know. Maybe we find out tonight, or maybe we don't. But a bunch of awesome people tonight on the Chamorro show, including myself. We got Missing Link. You see it right here. Nick Comic Culture, TM Nerdy, Phable, JT, myself, Brother Joe, Eric the Stash, Taqi, Bobby De La Ghetto, Comic Kings, and also Dylan's Horror Show. Dylan, that son of a... All those guys are gonna be is a special show of all of us. How we met, how does this thing start? The Bad Batch, the hashtag backlog bro. What is that? I'm not sure, but check it out after this show. We're the bridge to that show. I'm so proud of it. Can't wait to have that particular night. And of course, Whiplash Wednesday always had my man TM Nerdy with his chatting with the community. Another great show by him. 23 shows already. My man Nick, from not our Nick, but he's still our Nick. I feel like Nick kicks in comic. He's our Nick too. You know what I'm saying? Never enough Nicks. You know what I'm saying? But Nick kicks. Great show, guys. You guys did a wonderful job. I missed the first 15 minutes of that show, but I'm gonna go back and rewatch that. Another view for TM. Why not, right? Great show up in there. This week, Branded Comic Kings, which is part of the Bad Batch now. They were supposed to him and Missing Link supposed to talk about on their Crisis on Infinite rants about Bendis before the Superman runs. Put some respect under his name. You know what I'm saying? He did some good stuff in the past. They're gonna probably do that next week. So I can't wait for that. We waiting for that. That's gonna be awesome. I can't wait. My man Missing Link and Brandon at it. You know what I mean? But yeah. So we have like that, and of course, Nick, I'm never gonna forget you. Um, for whatever reason, my thumbnail didn't pop up with Nick's pull show, but Nick Comic Culture, he has his pull list and all that. I even watched them, commenting on all that. Nick, I apologize. My thumbnails does not want to work right now, but I'll get that in before the show ends. And look at this, 6 minutes into it, and I didn't even bring my homeboys up in here. But that out of the side, today is a special show. A special show. Me, my homie Sam from Sam's Tangled Web, team up again, yet another week, but this time another. We had Bob a couple of weeks ago. We talked Daredevil, Frank Miller run, which blew my mind. I had so much fun with that. And then we're gonna do it again this week because we got my man, and I'm gonna bring him in right now. My man Sam from Sam's Tangled Web, and everybody knows him, Sleepy Reader 666. Let's bring him in as soon as my technology, which is failing me right now, decides it wants to work. There you go, finally. What is going on, guys?
Hey. My first time on your channel.
Yes,
You've always hung out on Sam's channel before.
Yes, I'm very excited.
Awesome.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm so excited that you come on to our flagship show here on my channel, me and Sam. This is our flagship show. So, the fact that you come in here and talk none other than Conan the Barbarian, guys, that's what we're going to talk about today. Yeah.
There you go.
Showing off his chest.
Yeah, the bare-chested man, huh? The big Conan. You know what I'm saying? Before there was a Kratos, you know, for Sony and all that killing gods, we had Conan the Barbarian. So, you know.
Yeah, Conan started before even comics, so he's been around forever. Killing
his own gods, you know what I'm saying? Like, we'll discuss all that in a minute. Of course, Sam, how you doing, my man? How you doing?
I'm doing great. You know, I figured, since we were gonna have Sleepy, I figured I'd come over and hang out with him, and
nice.
He graciously let me come over. He didn't let me stay out there in the street like people.
Right.
Yes.
Leaves you out there waiting.
Yes. So.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Now you will have to get your spider rep shooters and just rep shoot around or something to get home.
Yeah. I'll get there.
Yeah. I don't have any chalupas at my house, though. I don't know if Sam's
I need
disappointed
hot
about
pockets
that.
too.
Hot pockets. So I failed him on the
hot pockets.
I've just given him some coffee and some potato chips.
Yeah.
Just feed the man; he'll be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, how was your guys' day? I always start before we start. How was your day today?
It was a regular day, except of course going to the comic book shop, which I got a lot of comics, as I often do.
Nice.
So it looks like it's going to be a good week in new comics. I'm pretty excited to read what I've got.
Yeah, it was a stacked week. It was my biggest week of the month, and I was looking at it, like, man, I didn't know this many was coming out this week. What? My wife was looking at me and gave me that shaking head thing. I was like, oh, I'm in trouble. So real quick, we're gonna go to the chat real quick because we always love this before we get started. Of course, my man Fargate want to be first. Station, my man, thanks for joining us. He's a Conan the Barbarian fan
he's
too.
A Conan expert.
Yes. So thanks for being here, Mr. Bruce. Billy Power Max, Station, my man, with the deadlifts. Nick Comic Culture Station. Can't wait to see you a little later on that show. Some guy named Sam's Tangled Web that shows up every week on the chat.
Yeah.
You know?
Never heard of him.
It's like a clone.
Never.
Yeah.
Brandon Comic King Station, my man. Can't wait to see you later too. So where's my wrench, Herm? I don't even know, man. I haven't given a wrench in so long. I'll get you your rent soon. I'll get you. I thought I already had you in there, my man. I got you.
They cost
Maria
a lot.
Reyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maria Reyes, Station Hun, my wife, my better half. New comic book day. She says she actually made a cameo appearance on the Blaine Phable show earlier. First time
I
ever.
missed that one.
You know what I'm
I got to go
saying?
back and watch that. Wow.
Yeah. So it was a special show, man. It was a special. A lot of cutting onions happening for everybody for some reason. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Who else is up there? Oh, Sleepyreeder, that guy too. That guy's in the chat.
Weird guy, yeah.
Eric
Lurks
the
around.
Rats, just Stash. What's up, Stash, man? I'm hoping to see you later. We didn't get to see him earlier. I was a little crying, like, oh, what the Stash on the show? But we'll see him later tonight. ComicManAndy, what's up, bro? I can't help but put your intro in the front. When people like I try to stop doing that, and people be like, where's the ComicManAndy intro? So Comic Man, he puts up some good stuff. Follow that man. I should have his link down below. He's always shouting me out. Always appreciate you, ComicManAndy, if he's still in here. Cause I know he's prepared to do the show a little later. But power to you guys. Sheena Station, she made an appearance earlier. The hashtag Blame Phable show too. Her and my lady got to say hi to each other and all that. That was so beautiful, guys. I'm gonna cry here. I gotta stop.
No. Don't cry.
Stop. No doing that. No doing that. We're talking about bare-chested guys. You know,
Yes.
we're not
Macho.
macho mans. All right, man. I think I got everybody. If unacceptable. I think I got everybody. If I missed you, just talk to us on the chats. Cause right now I'm very excited to talk some Conan the Barbarian. I'll give myself a little more credit and give myself a bigger
Equal
I
time.
like equal time. So real quick, Conan the Barbarian. I always start with how we will start with Sleepy. You're the guest. So I want to know is how did you get started with Conan the Barbarian? I know he's very old school, and I know about that Robert Irwin Howard stuff and all that, which a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that came off novels. You know what I'm saying? And
Right. Novel pulp magazines from the 1930s. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and the guy didn't even last long in his life. He 30 years, and quick story. He took his life like after his mom was sick and all that. A sad situation for him. This was back in like 1936 and all that,
Exactly.
and he was only 30 years old.
Right. Nice. Yeah, 30 years old. He accomplished a lot before 30.
Yeah.
But
you
he
get a lot
obviously
of that
wasn't
stuff.
really
Yeah, go
like
ahead.
Conan. He wasn't really like Conan. That he was attached to his parents.
Oh yeah. He wasn't.
But anyway,
So
yeah.
But they say he wasn't all there like he was very fragile, something like that. That's what I read. The little things that I got to read about him, and like I say, he wasn't really. It's funny, he was writing about Conan, opposite of what he is. It's probably why the stories gravitated to his fans at the time.
Right. Right. Well, Conan was what he wanted to be.
He wanted, understandable. The comics that I got the AOK from you. I did read most of it. I didn't read like 2 of the magazines, but I got to read some of that to freshen up to understand. I know about Conan, but this helped me understand him just a little bit. And definitely this guy writing it, this Howard guy, he had a good imagination and all that. Could you discuss because a lot of the novels, a lot of us didn't get to read. So did you read a lot of his novels?
Yeah. I have a bunch of some of the paperbacks I've collected.
You want to show that in your presentation thing, or you do that later?
It doesn't really matter. But since I'm already doing it this way, these are also the comics. Oh. These are the paperback books that made Frank Frazetta famous too. You've heard of that artist Frank Frazetta?
Okay.
in the 60s, he did the cover paintings. These are two examples of the Conan paperbacks when they were having a Conan revival. In the 60s, there was a big revival of Conan stories, and Frank Frazetta painted the paintings, and they sold incredibly well, possibly because of the cover art. And as Roy Thomas tells it, people used to write letters into Marvel asking them if they would do Conan or some kind of sword and sorcery story, because that was really popular at the time.
Yeah.
And they didn't think they could afford Conan, but they finally asked the agent for Conan, because the author was long dead, but there was a guy who kind of ran the estate. And he said, yes, I'll do it for the small amount of money Marvel will pay, because he knew it would help sales of the book and make the character more famous. So I think it's because of the comics that we have the movies and all the other stuff, and that the novels still sell. The first time I ever saw Conan was on this cover. But I didn't, it's Conan number 10. It's a Barry Smith cover with a giant bull god that he's fighting.
Yes, I read that. It's very silly, but I read it.
And my parents said you can only buy one comic, and I couldn't decide between this Conan and an issue of the Avengers, and I bought the Avengers, but Conan stayed on my mind even though I wasn't able to get this comic.
Oh.
So I started reading the novels, and then I eventually, I think the first issue of Conan I actually bought as a kid was number 24, which is in here somewhere. Here's number 24, which was actually the first issue that John Buscema drew. And my wife bought me this copy with a signature by John Buscema. So it's a Gil Kane cover, but inside is John Buscema. And there is his, whoops, sorry,
Ooh.
Sam, there's his signature.
John Buscema.
In the old days, they signed the splash page. So, yeah, so you got to read a little bit of it. I was saying to Sam that Conan is a simpler character than, say, Peter Parker or Matt Murdock, right? Those guys have complicated lives.
Yeah.
And Conan is more sort of a pure adventure story, right? He travels the land and has adventures in different places. And a big part of what I
wanted to give, like, I don't know if it's a hot take or what.
Yes,
but okay. I wanted to say that my first Conan book was issue 100, and I got it from a friend of mine. And Conan always stuck out in my mind because I used to play D&D, and something about Conan, it looked like he could almost fit into that world a little bit of Dungeons and Dragons,
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Do you agree, Herb?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
When was your first Conan, Herm? Was it the movie?
My first Conan was the movie, Arnold and all that. So I didn't. I remember watching the movie on here on regular local channels because I used to give it all the time. I know, like, I didn't understand what was going on. I just know I saw Ardo there kicking butt, and then I saw Red Sonja come, and I became a fan.
Yeah.
I did have a few Conan the Barbarian books, but I'm not sure which one was my first one. I don't remember. I was trying to look through a list of them, see if I can buy one that I most remember, and the only one I remember the most was the Todd McFarlane cover one, and the Jim Lee, which is hard to find and it's very expensive.
I don't have either of those.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, it's very expensive. So
are they? Wow.
So, yeah. I've had one of the 35 center ones, but I don't remember which one. So I really just got them when I was really young, and I really didn't read them as much. I just because I didn't understand when I got those. I didn't understand everything that I was reading yet. So
yeah,
I would just flick the pages until I got old enough to read them. So by then I was reading Spidey and everything else. So that's why I don't have a whole history of Conan the Barbarian. that's why I was very excited for this show. So I can learn from the Conan guru. So
Well, I think Sam hit on something by mentioning D&D, and that a big part of Conan is the world building, the fantasy world that he lives in.
Yes, that's what I was going.
And I suspect, I'm not a total expert, but I suspect back in the 1930s, Robert E. Howard might have been one of the first people who built a whole world for his character.
Like before
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, before The Hobbit.
So he was inspired by things like Tarzan and H.P. Lovecraft, who was writing at the same time as him. They were even pen pals.
Wow.
But so H.P. Lovecraft created kind of his own mythology, right? And Robert E. Howard went and one further, created his own mythology and his own fake history that came before history. So he has this history of the world that happened 10,000 years before recorded civilization, that there were all these other forgotten civilizations. And Conan comes not at the beginning of that history, but after thousands of years of it. So in Conan's era, there's already been all these layers of history. And there was an earlier period where more of these evil gods and creatures from other worlds kind of came to our world. And there's still little pockets of them here and there, and wizards who know how to tap into that magic. And if you want to do the overhead thing for a second.
Sure.
So once you really got into Conan, you were looking at maps a lot. And so Conan came from Samaria, and his first adventures were with the Gundermen and this map is a bad map. Sam knows, I was struggling to find a map.
Yeah.
But this one is not very detailed. So there's much more detailed maps where there's all these kingdoms here that he interacted with. And he eventually, maybe when he gets to be about Sam's age, becomes the king of Aquilonia after he kills the king of Aquilonia.
See that? I should be king by now.
But he has adventures throughout here, and it goes down into what one day will be Africa, and they're not showing it, unfortunately, on this map. So yeah, now that I look at it, this is a very disappointing map. But anyway, so as you get more into Conan, there's all these different countries and cultures, and each has their own set of gods and religion. And that all came from these books. So that's what made I think the books stand the test of time. And I think that is and kind of the strong plotting and characterization that Robert E. Howard did in his stories turned Roy Thomas on. Like, Roy Thomas started it as just a job, and then he kind of fell in love with Robert E. Howard's stuff. So here, before they did Conan, Roy Thomas and Barry Smith tried another barbarian. So this is kind of considered a proto-Conan in comics, called Star the Barbarian. And so he was just in this one short story in the Chamber of Darkness. So for collectors of Conan, this is like one of your more expensive things you've got to seek out.
Wait, is that his first appearance on a comic? His real
So
first
it's
appearance?
not actually Conan. It's the comic book creators of Conan doing a character just like Conan before they actually did Conan.
Okay.
So, and in this story, there's a writer who in our time is writing the stories of this Conan-like character, Star the Barbarian. And Star comes through time and kills the writer so that Star will be free to have his own destiny.
Oh, wow.
So that's how they made it one of these kind of horror stories for Chamber of Darkness. And then the next thing you have, of course, is Conan #1, which you got to read a reprint of it, right?
Yes.
Herm?
Yes, I read it. I freaking put it away. I shouldn't have. I should have left it.
And they're doing a facsimile of that, too.
Right. They've already done the True Believers, and now they're going to have a facsimile coming out. Is that because there's a TV show coming or something?
Oh, is there a TV show?
Or maybe it's just for other reasons. Someone told me my comic book shop guy said there's a TV show coming up, and that's why Conan comics have gone up in price.
Yeah, that might be true.
I think they're going up in price because you keep bringing them up.
It might be my fault.
There you go. Well, Conan the Barbarian has been getting hot. Maybe that's why. But like, I think people started liking him, like in the comic book world, in Savage Avengers when they brought him in.
Right.
People were
Yeah.
like, oh, how are they gonna put Conan the Barbarian with the Avengers? Come on, it worked. 'Cause I love that run.
I love it too, and I thought I would.
They've somehow managed to make it work. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, and it represents what he is. The brute he is, the everything. But like a lot, like I was talking with the fellas, and a lot of the fellas we were talking, like people think like he's this big dumb brute, but he's not. He's pretty smart.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Not
Just
dumb.
yeah, he's not.
That was the one problem with the Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. They made, because Arnold couldn't speak English well, they made him dumb.
Yeah.
And in the books and the comics, he's the smartest guy in the room. He's just not civilized. So he doesn't have the standards and the in the books.
Yeah.
The idea is that civilized people aren't really honest, and barbarians are honest and cut through the BS. So the Savage Avengers is so good at this, like, what if Thor and Conan battled? That didn't work out so well. And what if Conan walked the earth today? They finally got it right, I think, in the Savage Avengers. Big hats off to Jerry Duggan for what he's done there.
Yeah.
And also they've got great art there by Pat Zurcher.
And I have to say, I hope that before Savage Avengers is over and maybe Conan goes back to his time, his older time, I hope that he gets one last time to hang out with Frank Castle. It seems like they get along.
They have something in common there.
Yes.
But I went back to read it because I had skipped for a while, and I'm reading it digitally now. But apparently he's in charge of the Hellfire Club, and I missed how that happened, but that seems very funny to me.
Yes, that was crazy.
And he beats up Spider-Man, kind of. I don't know if I like that.
I was not.
He kind of did beat up on Spider-Man.
He had the help from the Rhino, which is So some people say that this somehow segues into it, that Conan might be the beginning of the Bronze Age, because he's the first hero, at least really popular hero from Marvel, who was not a good guy, right? He isn't good or bad. He's just a guy out for himself. And he comes from a time where, violence is the answer to a lot to questions. But that reminded me of seeing him fight Spider-Man, and he's teaming up. He's hanging out at the bar with the criminals, and he's teaming up with them because and there's a whole arc to his life where he wanders off from Samaria when he's a teenager, which is where he is in this Conan #1, and he starts working as a mercenary, sword for hire, for these other barbarians, actually, these other groups of barbarians, the redheads and the blondes, the Vanir and the Aesir.
There's a lot of those in these books.
Right. So they're kind of color-coded by hair. There's 3 groups of barbarians. The Sumerians have black hair. The Vanir, I think, are the redheads, and the Aesir are the blondes, or maybe I've got it.
So Conan had to work his way up the ladder.
Yeah, but then after this, when he wanders into the civilized lands, he just becomes a thief. So that thing with him hanging out in Savage Avengers with all the criminals and saying, "Hey, let's go do a heist. This will be fun."
Yeah,
that harkens back to his days as a thief. One of the interesting things that right in this first issue that they do is they have this. Roy Thomas had this wizard that uses his star stone and looks at kind of history, and they cover the King Kull, which is another character of Robert E. Howard's, who lived several thousands of years before Conan, before the world got flooded and a lot of civilization went under the waters. And then shows Conan having different careers. Conan being born on the battlefield and fighting, and then eventually becoming a king. In the books, he wouldn't know that he's going to become a king. But then the guy keeps going into the future, and he sees cavemen and ancient Egypt, and then space exploration, which drives him insane. But I think that was interesting that Roy Thomas did that, because he wanted to capture the sense of deep time that Conan is about, that we're in this far away exotic world. So, which probably, is not something when you're a little kid first reading Conan that makes sense. But as you get
copy you got is amazing. I look at the colors are clear. Ooh,
Yeah, it's pretty clear on here.
This is a very nice copy. I bought it from Jean-Paul Ace Peter, an older YouTube guy.
Okay.
And it was the most expensive comic I ever bought, but it was he gave me a very good deal on it. So I'm very happy for that. I have another copy that's really beat up. So
you should have showed us the beat up one instead of the nice one.
I should have.
I appreciate it.
Or just the True Believers.
Come on, Herm.
The True Believers.
Come on, Herm.
Only the best for our show.
Only the best for you and Sam.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
I like having a comic in nice condition, but I am not precious about comics, and I'm not a slabber or a grader. So
precious.
Yeah, me neither. Nothing wrong with it for people who love it.
I like to read every comic I have and open it up. It's a paper time machine, as people say. You get that when you read an old comic, you get that smell, you see the old ads, and it just takes you back into time. Yeah.
Totally. I that comic, the reprint that you sent me, the Conan Classic, I read the same one. It's the same book. The only thing, the ads are a little different. Ads on that one's the original ads. And the ones that I got, the 94 ads. So it's pretty interesting to see the different ads. I really enjoy. That's what best part. I love omnibuses and stuff. But sometimes, when the facilities, that's why they need to keep coming out with them with the original ads, because I just love that part. And I'm reading that more than the book. Yeah. The outrageousness of them, But,
and I like having the letters pages and stuff. Sometimes they put that in the omnibus, so that's nice.
Yes, what I've noticed, let me take this out for a second, from screen for the moment. What I noticed as I was reading through the books, like in the beginning, you had a lot of if you meet Conan, do not become friends with him. Just go the other way, because it doesn't really end well for you.
No, it doesn't. If you're a side character.
I noticed. Yeah, what I know is damn, this guy's screwed. Because I noticed the pattern and the issue. There's a lot of one-shot people in these, and that's why I didn't need them.
They become red shirts.
Yeah. I didn't even memorize the name. There's no need to memorize the name.
Yes, characters do not continue for the most part.
Yeah,
a few people will show up over and over again, like Red Sonja.
So, real quick, Sam, what was your first Conan the Barbarian? Did you have a first?
Issue 100. I got that from a friend. It might have been some weird trade I did. I used to do trade comics with a few of my friends and stuff. So yeah,
nice.
I don't know. I was just hooked into the superheroes, but Conan, I had a lot of respect for him, because he seemed to know what he was doing, and he knew what he wanted, and he went after it. So
yeah, it's very well. We were talking. If you had to compare Conan to any other Marvel character, maybe the Hulk would be the closest. But even the Hulk, not everybody dies every issue.
Yeah.
That's true because the Hulk is not dumb neither. Like people think he's dumb
Yeah.
because Hulk smash, Hulk beat this
Right.
guy up, but it's not really like he's pretty smart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Hulk does have more continuity than Conan, but Hulk does have that element of wandering around and having different adventures in different
Yes.
places.
Yeah.
A big part of. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Herm.
No, go ahead.
No, I was
I'm
just
here
going
to
to
learn.
say a big part of Conan, at least for me, but I think for other people too, is the artists. And so, like, it made Barry Smith a superstar, and I
Barry
think
Smith,
his art first started getting really interesting in issue number 3. This Grim Gray God issue. I think you probably read that. I don't know if Sam got to read that. But I think his art made a big step up here from because he started out as kind of a Jack Kirby imitator, and he was starting to develop his style here. And so I noticed this issue being really good, and then I read notes by Roy Thomas, and this was actually about the 5th issue he drew, but it was the 3rd issue they published. And Roy Thomas mentions that's when his art really started to click too. And that's when Stan Lee started to notice how good his art was. And I think for a while, Conan went bi-monthly, partially because Stan was putting him on other books. He did a stint on the Avengers, and I think he was doing some Khazar. And then Barry Smith's art, I mean, most people now know him for Weapon X, right? Or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But his art really reached a new peak within 24 issues, within about 2.5 years of drawing Conan. It had become this whole style.
And that's the first Red Sonja, right?
This is the first full Red Sonja. She actually appears in the issue before.
23 is a cameo. Okay.
23, and I finally bought 23 because that's really expensive too. And now I can't find it.
Oh man,
it's somewhere in the house, but so his art just became really, really detailed, and so this, I think that's part of why this issue with even though it's the second appearance of Red Sonja, is such an expensive one, because it's kind of Barry Smith hitting his peak. And then his other big peak work was that Red Nails. That's part of why I gave you that Red Nails issue. I don't know if you got to read that yet in Conan Saga, but I highly recommend that one too.
Yeah, I haven't read that one yet. I'm still going through them. You know what I mean? But I did read the regular issues and
now,
the
How long did Barry Windsor Smith? How long was his run on Conan?
Well, less than 24 issues because Gil Kane filled in a few.
Okay.
So maybe 17 or 18 issues, and then some black and white stuff in Savage Tales, including that Red Nails, and the Frost Giant's Daughter. So he was not on very long, but it made him a superstar. So he went off and just did art portfolios and stuff for a long time before he came back to Marvel in, I guess that was the 80s, right? With Machine Man and Weapon X.
Yeah. Okay. I remember his stuff from when he would do almost like fill-ins for the X-Men, the Kenny X-Men.
Nice.
And then John Buscema took over with
John Buscema,
this issue. And
legendary.
He was already a superstar, but I mean, he became the definitive Conan artist. Now, a lot of the best Barry Smith is inked by Sal Buscema.
Wow!
And this issue of this first issue with John Buscema is inked by Sal Buscema because Sal was John's favorite inker.
It's a brother thing.
Yeah, he felt that Sal understood his art best. But then they put Ernie Chan on the inking.
Hey, that's not bad either.
It was not bad. But then, I'm sorry, excuse me just a second.
It's all good.
If you don't mind me still talking about artists. Then in the...
Nah, go ahead, man. If Phable was here, he loved the art part. So
in the Savage Sword of Conan, the black and white magazines. So Conan and Star Wars are what kept Marvel alive during the 70s. And so Conan was a huge bestseller, so they had multiple Conan comics, including these. This was their longest running black and white magazine. and they had these inkers from the Philippines doing the black and white inking. And one of the great ones, all of them were actually great. Philippines has great artists for some reason, was Alfredo Alcala. So that's him inking over John Buscema, and the detail is just amazing.
Yeah.
And that really helped. There's a lady you might like to meet if you weren't married. Sam could meet her.
Well, yes.
Yeah, I got to see some of that, the magazine you sent me. So I've seen.
Yeah,
like,
I think I may have chose one that reprinted this story.
It did, yes.
Because I like the art in this one a lot.
Let's
see, what else have I got? Oh, there's Savage Sword #1. And #4. Yeah, so there's just a lot of great art. So I think Conan also appeals to people for the art. This is another.
This was the one.
Alcala one.
I'll just show you real quick. It's in this book. That art you showed me just now is in this book. Yeah.
Yeah, is that the one with red nails?
Yeah. It's one full-length story. Red Nails, Roy Thomas Red Nails. Yeah. And this is what you just showed me. I just put myself small, but so these are reprints from all
that's
that.
The cover from #1, but they put it on a reprint of another story. But
yeah.
And I think a lot of what Conan does is he passes through other stories, right? The stories of other characters. There's one called "A Witch Shall Be Born," where he is crucified, and it's really the story of these two twins, one who's evil and one who's good. One is this queen who gets tortured by her sister.
Hold on, let me show the layout. Show that again. So layout. Okay,
so
that's his sister. What?
No, not his sister. Sorry, it's really a story of two sisters. One is a queen, and the other one becomes an evil witch. And the evil witch takes over the kingdom and tortures her sister.
As you would.
As your evil twin would do to you. Sure. My wife's a twin, so I worry about that. Well, so
my mom's a twin.
I was so shocked by this as a kid. They crucify Conan.
Oh boy! Oh no!
And the vultures, they leave him out in the desert on this sort of, they didn't want to make it like the Christian crucifix, so they give him a different kind of thing. But
that happened in the movie.
Right? Oh, right. Was that the second movie or the first one?
That was the first.
Yeah. So everyone knows it from the movie with him biting the vultures' necks and stuff. But I was always very impressed by that. And then I don't know if it's the same in the movie. These guys come along and chop down his crucifix, his whatever you call it that he's crucified on, and then he pulls the nails out of his own feet.
Oh,
and walks.
I think he does that in the movie too. Yeah, I think he does that in the movie too. Yeah. I haven't seen it in a long time, but.
So he's not a superhero, but he's pretty much tougher than every other human being on the planet Earth at the time.
Seems like it.
Yeah, man. I just love I really enjoy the ones that I read that you sent me. Especially like I said before, like if you're friends with him, Shrewd, and also you don't want to date him because like he's after the treasure. You know what I mean? There's like one lady who was all over him. He's like, no, I have to go over here. I have a mission. I have to go get this. Right. You know what I mean? And he's more worried about the treasure than dating the girl. You know what I mean? And she's like falling in love with him at first sight. And he wants no part of it. And then somehow she gets in distress and all that, and then she loses her life. You know what I mean? So maybe you don't want to date him either.
It's like in James Bond. Isn't there always one woman who gets killed in James Bond after she sleeps with him?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's where they got it, these Conan books.
Yeah.
And
it might be
a
pulp tradition.
Yeah. And I see like in a lot of these comics, they're imitating a lot of Howard's novels. Like they're taking a lot of what's in there and literally putting it on on the drawing and just maybe
Yeah.
Roy
Yeah,
Thomas
they were adapting. They adapted all his fiction, and then they found other unfinished stories by him, and they would take the plot from the unfinished story and turn it into a comic and stuff.
Yeah,
And then when Marvel made Conan so popular, the book publishers started hiring other writers to write more Conan novels. So I think there's like 50 or 100 Conan. I haven't read all of them because
that's a lot.
I'm a purist. I like the stuff by Robert E. Howard best.
Yes.
But I also love everything Roy Thomas did with Conan was gold. And then other writers seem spotty to me. Some are good, some are bad. I feel like Jerry Duggan is the next good Conan.
Really?
One of my favorite Conan writers.
It's good that you give him a good recommendation to do more Conan.
Yes, I tell Marvel, let Jerry Duggan do all your Conan. He's
So,
the writer
you
for
don't like-
Savage Avengers.
So you're not liking any of the Jason Aaron part of the Conan because he did start writing a little bit of it.
It was okay. Another funny thing is in Jason Aaron's comic, Conan meets his god Crom. And in all the stories, Conan always says, Crom is an uncaring god who doesn't care what I do. So I curse by Crom, but Crom doesn't care what I do. But then Jason Aaron has Conan die and then meets Crom in some kind of afterlife and convinces Crom to bring him back to life. So that seemed weird. And Crom looked like a big horned demon. But now they showed Crom in Savage Avengers and he just kind of looks like Odin or something. So there's a lot of confusion about Crom.
I know, like in the third issue of the classic Conan, he was arguing with a god in there. Was that him, or was that like he literally the guy came?
Oh no, that was not. But it did look like Odin, didn't it? Yeah, it was that one I was showing.
Well, I was thinking if when Crom looked like a demon, maybe he hadn't had his coffee yet.
Maybe, yeah. He looked.
He's always like by Crom. Like this, he's always using Crom.
This god is not Crom. It's another god who is.
It's another god. Okay.
Passing, who's no longer believed in, I guess, or something. So.
Yeah, he threatens him and everything. He's like, he don't care if he's a god. He wants to slice him too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Slice him down.
He does not.
He gives no care
the final
of who you
panel, Oops, sorry, Sam, for putting my hand in your face. The final panel, the god is just sort of walking off away from the world, never to be seen again.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a world where there are gods, but they're not really that interested in humans most of the time. And
like, you humans.
You bloody human.
Obviously, it's playing with things like Greek and Egyptian mythology and Norse mythology. It's not about Christianity, of course, but there is kind of a almost an atheist vibe to it, in the sense that the God we do have doesn't give a crap about us. In Conan's point of view. So I just do what I want. It's very nihilistic, I guess. I get why that's sort of the Bronze Age is much darker than the Silver Age in terms of its morality.
That's true.
And eventually that Bronze Age attitude leads us to the Punisher. You might say the Punisher is the ultimate Bronze Age character.
That's why they get along so well.
Yeah, they're right.
They're buddies.
They're the Bronze Age, the ultimate Bronze Age characters.
They should do some more team ups for both of them, right? Just have one book, but just them two.
Well, Marvel is supposed to hire Sam as a consultant, and he's suggesting
I'm still waiting on my phone call. So.
They slacking on that one.
Yeah.
A Punisher team, Marvel team up, but with Punisher teaming up with different people. That would be kind of cool.
True.
Can you imagine that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So real quick, we discussed Roy Thomas because he's been on the Conan for 115 issues, and then he stops and he comes back for the end of that run from 240 to 275. Did you like his second run at it, or was it?
Okay, this is embarrassing. Run? I have not read most of that run.
Okay. Okay.
I think it was during some period where I couldn't afford to buy comics. I can't remember now why I didn't get them. So I've been collecting them recently from 50-cent and dollar bins, but I haven't really read many of them yet. I did read some when he came back to Savage Sword of Conan, and those were really interesting. The artists he was working with then were more kind of beginning artists. But I think he still had it. And then he came back and he did a series at Dark Horse called The Road of Kings, and that was excellent. And he did a one-shot Conan for Marvel now in the recent times, and he did a good job there. Now, I don't, he's a pretty old guy, so I don't know if he wants to write on a regular basis or if they're just not hiring him on a regular basis.
But he was doing both books. He was doing Conan the Barbarian and Savage Swords of Conan.
Yes,
like
and Savage Sword and King Conan eventually.
And King Conan.
There was this series King Conan, which was always a double-sized comic at the time. And he wrote it when he left. Some other writers took over. This might be.
I always remember seeing that on the comic credits. King Conan.
Yeah, so Conan was everywhere.
I'm like, wow, Conan is just.
So how did he become the King Conan? Like I know in one of the issues I read, they look at him in the future as King Conan or something like that. One of the sorcerers or something. What's the difference between that and the Null guy? Like, or that's something totally different.
It's totally different. He in the era he lives in is called the Hyborian Age, because the Hyborian civilization is the dominant one. The Hyborians are kind of somewhat similar to medieval Europe or something. And he worked his way in a bunch of armies as a mercenary, and eventually he would get up to general. And when he was doing that in a country called Aquilonia, which is probably somewhat like medieval France or something, the king went kind of insane, and he killed the king and made himself king. So that's why they have a book called Conan the Usurper, because the usurper is someone who steals the throne from the king.
Wow.
And then there's some people who don't like a barbarian being in charge of the country revive this evil wizard from 10,000 years ago, and they depose Conan, and only one slave girl helps him out in his quest to get the throne back. And when he gets the throne back, he marries her and makes her his queen. So that's the first time he has a relationship where the woman actually lasts. The other person who keeps reoccurring is Red Sonja, who won't let him sleep with her, because she won't sleep with any man who won't defeat her in battle, who can't defeat her in battle, and no one can defeat her in battle.
Wow.
Yeah. I read that part in the Red Sonja, that issue, and like he starts action, and she's like, nah, I'm good. Like she has no part of him.
Right. So Red Sonja, who wears a bikini all the time, does not have sex.
No, there's no
Very
chance.
frustrating.
Yeah.
I'm sure she gets into a lot of fights with the men, because they're trying, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And like, all right, I'll fight you. I can beat you. And little no, she probably defeats them all,
And Fargate's mentioning that Arnold Schwarzenegger was supposed to do King Conan, which would make sense now that he's old.
Yeah.
But someone told me the funding for that fell apart. So I don't know if that movie will come out.
Oh, man, that would have been cool if we saw that. We have a question from Phable, too. He said, Sleepy, what did you think about the Savage Adventures issue with the demon and the prosthetic leg? Have you read that one? I think it was issue 12 or 13.
I must have read it, but I'm trying to remember. Do you remember?
It sounds like around the time that Elektra and Doctor Strange slept together.
That was very distracting.
Was that? Yeah.
The other thing so I'm sorry, I don't remember the prosthetic leg right now.
Yeah,
I mean, overall, I'm loving the Savage Avengers, but I've been reading it in chunks. So like I shotgunned about
I've forgotten
10 issues recently, and in that I was most struck by when Wolverine sticks a guy who's still alive inside a wood chipper. That was a very savage Wolverine.
True.
Yeah, he's trying to
But-
out savage the Conan. So you know.
yeah, everyone's got to be more savage in this comic.
Yeah, but quick with that scene, he was in a bed with all the other ladies that are paid prostitutes and stuff like that, and one of them had a prosthetic leg, and then one of them was a demon, and to kill the demon, he took this prostitute's leg and beat her with it.
That is great, actually. Wow, did I miss that issue?
I need to go. I need to go.
I remember one where he had
Phable, let us know the issue number.
He like killed the pimps or the slavers, and then all the women wanted him, but I can't remember if that's the same thing. But that is very Conan, right? He'll do he'll find any way to defeat. That the other big thing about Conan that's the recurring theme is he lives in a world of magic, but he hates magic. He believes in his strong arm and his sword.
Now, what do you think about in Savage Avengers? He doesn't get along at all with Doctor Strange, but Doctor Doom, he's
having dinner with him.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because they both do magic, right? But
yeah.
I guess he appreciates Doctor Doom's selfishness.
I guess
that's
civilized.
A little pushing it, because I think in the normal Conan stories he would not like anybody who uses their magic to dominate other people.
Yeah.
I mean, even though he's not someone who is out doing good deeds all the time, he definitely, if along the way, if he can knock down the people who are bad, he will. He has his own code. But so I think that's pushing it, but it's kind of a fun thing that he and Dr. Doom would get along.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the magic thing. I feel like in a way, like the wizards and the magic represent civilization also. And I wonder, for me as a boy, when I first fell in love with this, if the wizards were like grown-ups who had all the magic. And in the fantasy world of Conan, you just by being strong and having a good sword, you could defeat all this sophisticated magic. And the people who seem to have the advantages in life, just by your strong arm, you could defeat them. So
I guess whatever helps Conan sleep at night, right? Whatever helps him sleep at night.
Well, he has lots of women to help him sleep at night.
Yeah, he does. He does. Yeah, the women part. Real quick, the beginning of these issues I read, a lot of them did not survive, but there was one that did. I forgot her name. What was the
one who turned into a tiger?
They have that one. What was her? No. Yeah, I saw that. I thought it was a woman with a tiger, but no, she turns into a tiger, and she's actually falls in love with him. But that doesn't work out.
Right.
Kind of
her father's an evil wizard, but then she dies later on in the stories. I think you didn't have those actually. So she returns.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm shuffling through my.
Just doesn't have any luck with the ladies, right?
There's this one blonde one.
The ladies don't have.
Okay, the ladies don't.
With him, yeah. You don't want to date him.
Here she is the first time. Her father's name Zulka. I think the name of the story is like Zulka's daughter or something. Zulka's daughter. And so this evil wizard Zulka uses his daughter, who turns into a tiger, to terrorize people. And at the end, she loves him. She loves Conan, and Conan defeats her father. And I think they kind of disappear magically. But then in a two-parter here, they show up again, Zulka and his daughter. And so does Elric, the other famous sword and sorcery character by Michael Moorcock. So Zulka and his daughter are now fighting to save our universe from a sorceress called the Green Empress from another universe.
Wow.
And they team up with Elric, who is from that universe, to help them.
This is getting complicated.
It's one of my favorite stories, actually. and it's a two-parter. So then they, in the end, basically Zolka's daughter has to sacrifice herself to stop this invasion. Let me see if I can find it. So there's the daughter, and they send wizard power into her body through this white beam, and so that gives her the power. And there's Zolka going, "No, not my daughter, Zephyra." That gives her the power to fight the Jade Empress or the Green Empress, but it's burning up her body. So she defeats the Empress, but then she's dead. And then at the end, Conan is kind of loves her, and he picks up her body, and he's very upset, and he brings her body back to the wizard, and tells him, "Damn you and all your sorcery." And he tells her that, no daughter of mine would ever die because of sorcery. Of course, I don't know if he ever has a daughter. He does have a son later on.
All right.
But yeah, so sometimes people reoccur. Yeah. But not too often.
we got Fargate. Says maybe Jason Momoa should go back to doing King Conan. Bring him back.
Jason Momoa really had the look for Conan.
Pull it off.
He did. Yeah, I agree.
That movie wasn't very popular, and I guess it was, to me, it was okay, but it wasn't great.
It wasn't great. Yeah, he said.
But he was a good Conan. It just wasn't a good movie, I guess.
And he's popular, like Fargate was saying. He's popular now. Like Momoa's popular now, so maybe it'll work if they get a good story in. He also said, idea for follow-up show, cover all Robert E. Howard's characters like No and Red Sonja. We'll think about it.
More props to Roy Thomas, because Roy Thomas really is the one who created Red Sonja. There was a poem that Robert E. Howard had about someone named Sonja, and then there was another story with a female warrior character. And Roy Thomas took those elements and created this character, Red Sonja, for the Conan comics, but it's still owned by the estate of Robert E. Howard because it came from his poem. But really, she's Robert E. Howard. Roy Thomas's creation. But the Cull comics were good. So after Conan became popular, tons of sword and sorcery came out during the Bronze Age.
Marvel and DC.
Marvel and DC, exactly. Yeah. I have a few examples. Let's see if I can find them again. Probably. This pile is getting to be a mess.
It's all good, man.
I need Sam to teach me how to organize my comics.
I am the last person you want with that. Come on. I gotta organize my own stuff.
So here is the first issue of Cull. So Cull lived, I forget, either 5 or 10,000. No, I think maybe just a few thousand years before Conan. And he was a barbarian from Atlantis. Atlantis was a barbaric island at the time. And he came to this civilization called Valusia, or I can't remember how to pronounce it. But, and like Conan, kind of slays the Mad King and becomes king himself. And then the stories are all about him as a king and all the troubles he has as this barbarian king. And there's this secret sect of lizard people, snake people, who do magic and can disguise themselves as humans, who cause him a lot of problems.
Now, I have to say real quick, there is a Marvel team up that needs to happen.
Yes.
Conan needs to team up with Namor, the Submariner, and I think that would be pretty awesome.
Another kind of course, he was the
type sea guy.
Right? Yeah, he was kind of the anti-hero before the Bronze Age, right?
There you go.
Going all the way back to the Golden Age. He
It's
was very
just a
much an
natural.
anti-hero.
Yeah.
So
like I said earlier.
there was Cull, and he also had a black and white magazine too for a short while. And then they came up with Thongor,
Oh
who
Lord.
was another barbarian. And I think he lived in Lemuria, which is in the Legends of Atlantis. There's another city that also sunk called Lemuria.
Just kind of like a little town over.
Yes, the next island over or something. And then when Roy Thomas moved over to DC, he started Arak, Son of Thunder,
Yes,
which is a really cool series.
That very cover right there I used to have in my original collection.
Nice.
Right
It's a
there.
beautiful cover.
Amazing. Yeah.
And
I remember that
Arak,
cover.
well, as you probably know, Arak was an Indian, a Native American who ended up washed on the shores of the Viking lands.
Oh wow.
And has adventures all over Europe in a sword and sorcery kind of way, right, in medieval Europe.
I haven't seen that comic in years, man. You're bringing me back.
I don't think this was ever reprinted anywhere.
No.
But yeah, so those are just a few examples, but it was all over the sword and sorcery thing. I don't know what it was, because it wasn't just in comics too. It was in sword and sorcery in books. You know, everyone was imitating Conan. I don't know what it was about the 70s that everyone liked guys with swords and
Yeah,
dragons.
That was when
very popular.
a big revival of Dungeons and Dragons was happening in the 70s.
Well, wasn't
And
it
I think
created
it was
in the
prob-
70s?
Yeah, and I think it was helping.
Yeah, and Lord of the Rings was getting
Lord of the
really big
Rings.
then
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Phable has a question. He said, "You may have answered this, but what are your thoughts on the Cimmerian?"
Does he mean the European comic called the Cimmerian? That is very. I'm reading it. So what it is they have these. For some reason in Europe, Conan is out of copyright. So they're making Conan comics in Europe. And then when they publish them in America, they don't, instead of it saying Conan the Barbarian, it says the Cimmerian. Because Conan is a Cimmerian. Cimmeria is the country he comes from. So, and it's weird because each one is by a different European artist. I had one of them here and I can't find it. Oh well. I like them, but I don't love them. It's interesting with each one to see what it'll be like because each one is so different from the others. And all of them are adaptations of original Robert E. Howard stories. So the stories are already extremely familiar to me because I've already read the book versions and the Roy Thomas versions and sometimes the Kurt Busiek versions because Kurt Busiek adapted all the original Conan over at Dark Horse in the late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah. So, yeah, I like the Cimmerian, but I don't love it. That's pretty much where I fall on that.
Fair enough. Damien 62 says, Damien, did you mention Dark Agnes?
Dark Agnes is another character by Robert E. Howard, and I guess Marvel put out a mini-series about her.
Really?
And it was pretty good, but I don't think it got much attention, so I don't think we'll be seeing her come back. And I think she exists in the real medieval times, and there's some kind of religious aspect to it that I've now forgotten. So I've never read the original stories on that. Wow. She might have been, I don't know, she might have been a bit of an inspiration for Red Sonja, too. Yeah, Phable. Those Cimmerian ones are from Ablaze, which is a small company that seems to mostly reprint European comics. Like right now they're doing Porcelain, which is really good by Maria Lovett.
So, real quick, you had two titles. You had the Conan the Barbarian. You had Savage Swords of Conan. Which one was the better one, or was there any difference between them, or was it just the same, like just a different story?
Yeah, they were quite different.
Okay.
I would say this is Savage Tales, which came before Savage Sword. I would say the black and white ones, they did much longer stories. They would be like 40 pages long, and they were.
Is that Khazar?
Yeah, Khazar eventually took over Savage Tales when Conan got his own book.
Nice. I like Klar.
All my disorganization here is not helping. They're
It's
right
all
here.
good. It's all good.
Anyway, I would say the Savage Sword was more satisfying because they were longer stories. They went more in depth, and the
I got a copy.
and the art was pretty incredible because they got these really good artists for doing black and white. So if I had to collect just one, I suppose I would collect Savage Sword. But I love them both, so of course I collect them. Because you can never have too many comics. Except
never.
when your wife's around, then you pretend you have less.
Yeah. I get the question, does this ever end? And I'm like, sure it ends. No, it doesn't.
There's always more.
No, it doesn't. I'm trying to make sure I cover everything because we're doing good. We're doing good with timing, but we do want to do a little show and tell a little bit later.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Soon.
If people were looking at reprints, because Marvel put out put out a whole bunch of hardback omnibuses, and now they're putting out the paperback versions. I would say go for the first volume or two of Conan the Barbarian, the color one. And so you've with those reprints I gave you, you've read a good portion of that. And then also get the Savage Swords. I'd say the first 100 issues of Savage Sword, or at least the first 70 issues of Savage Sword, are really awesome. So I would look at the early Savage Sword and the early Conan the Barbarian and get some of both in reprints, or if you can find them, for a good deal at stores. I'd say Conan gets pretty collectible after about issue 24. Pretty affordable. The first 24 issues will cost you a bit more. And with Savage Sword, it's mostly maybe the first issue is quite pricey, and then the rest are quite reasonable. So you could collect the individual issues too. And 62 Lefty Blues saying here, any Conan by John Buscema is epic, and I agree. I mean, I love Barry Smith just as much, but there's so much fantastic John Buscema artwork in Conan. Yeah, and the black and white ones give you more John Buscema art, which is part of why it's
black and white. Yeah, I got Fargate sent me a little AOK, and I'm gonna show it in my show and tell, but he did send me this
oh nice
from Thomas Kane and Buscema's up in here. This is actually the giant size Conan 1 through 4, the Savage Swords of Conan 8 and 10, and the Conan the Barbarian Annual 4 and 5. So it's literally a lot of annuals in this one book.
It's all one story. That's the story of the wizard they bring back from the past to defeat Conan and take him out of the kingship, and where he marries the slave girl.
That's the issue you showed earlier.
Yeah. So that's an awesome story. That's a really great gift from Fargate. It's a really meaty, long Conan story.
He was saying something. It came out black and white first before color, or
parts of it were black and white. So they did it most of the story in giant size Conan the Barbarian, and then when that series was canceled, they finished it in Savage Sword. And I don't know if those are colorized at the back. After the giant size issues will be 1 or 2 issues of Savage Sword where they finished it.
Here's a lady in distress here. I'm here showing down here.
Maybe that's the wrong way. The slave girl he marries. I wish I could remember her name. I'm embarrassed. So that is an adaptation of this novel which they call either The Hour of the Dragon or Conan the Conqueror.
Oh, okay.
So in paperback, it's usually Conan the Conqueror, although the official title is Hour of the Dragon.
I just saw the part you were just talking about right here. That wedding right there?
There you go. Oh. We've spoiled the ending. Sorry.
Oh, there you go.
But it's just the journey. I already spoiled it.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Yeah, so we could go on about Conan.
Yeah.
all day. I hope we gave enough in this one. I don't know if I missed any questions and all that. Sam, do you have any questions? As we go down to
I
close to show and tell.
I don't have a question. I just have a pretty much statement that
Cool.
I think that we made the right call by having Mr.
Yes.
Bare-chested Conan, the man here,
Yes.
on the show, because this has been awesome to get all this facts and all these great stories about the background of how Conan came to be and all that.
Well, thank you, Sam.
Oh yeah.
And thank you, Herm, for letting me spout on about this for so long.
Oh, that's
You're
all
very
good.
patient.
No, because you kept answering my questions as I was gonna ask it, and then you just answered it for me. So I was like, I'm just sit right here, man. This is like a
Just
night
let him
off for
go.
me, you know. Thanks for coming on here, and I know Fargate talked about it, but I would love to talk Red Sonja and all these other characters with you in the future. If you ever want to come back, I don't like to back people in the corner. Like I told Bob, you know what I mean? I usually do it backstage, but if you ever want to come back, talk some more Conan or anybody else that you want to talk, we would love to have you in the team up. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, well,
I-
sometime when you guys are talking other Bronze Age comics, I'm,
All
all
right.
about all that stuff. So
we'll keep that in mind. All I know is like I'm just glad we were able to get you finally. It's months in the making. We finally got you here to talk some
very slippery.
Conan, which and thank you were great, and thanks for those books. I really appreciate it. I enjoy reading them. I still gotta read a few of the magazines left, and I'm still gonna read them. And making me want to get the omnibuses. I don't think I'll be able to get them all, but at least I'm gonna try to get a few more Conan stuff now and read them, because I always like Conan, especially Savage Avengers got me loving Conan. As you saw in the chats, Phable loves Conan, so we get to talk about him sometimes. So maybe in the future I have him come for Conan. Phable, I know you're busy, but I might have you come on here with us one day and talk Conan.
That would be cool.
Fargate loves Conan. Maybe Fargate will do a show with us, but
I think we should have a whole thing on Savage Avengers one day.
That's a good idea. I should reread it so I remember all the prothesis clobbering and things.
Maybe
good idea, Sam.
Maybe get Phable on too or something like that.
Yeah. So Phable, if you listening right here, man, they're calling you out. Savage Avengers, come with us, talk with us. You know what I mean? And maybe if God willingly, I'll be with him. And we be in the same room just as you, because we live in the same city.
Be interesting. Yes.
But I'd rather go over there because he's got the cool video games in his room. I don't. So
he does. He's got an awesome setup over there. Yeah.
He does. So I'm gonna put a pause on the Conan for future use, hopefully. But everybody knows what time it is. Everybody knows what I love. My favorite show of the night. I love all this conversation, but Sam knows it. Sam knows that show, that beautiful sight.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that amazing sight. Yes.
Show time. I still gotta work on the music. My vocals. You know what I mean? But if you want me, I'll go first. You guys get ready for your part of the show, and I'll put myself the solo. Like, what up, everyone? I hope you have a lot of fun, because this was a lot of fun. I have done shows with Sleepyreeder before on the Ever Loving Show with my man Sam, but to have him here on Whiplash Wednesday is amazing. His first appearance on my channel on Whiplash Wednesday, amazing. Thank you so much. I'm probably gonna thank you a million times, Sleepy. So just bear with me.
I thank you.
The first thing I'm gonna show, of course, I just showed that the Conan the Barbarian. This is the small AOK, but I think it's big for me. He doesn't have to, but he does. He felt like I was doing a Conan show. So I guess I might not be able to read it in time for this show, but I am gonna read in the future. Maybe I'll review it myself. You know what I mean, on one of our shows or something like that. And I'll show you this before. So I'm put this one down. Grab up this over here. Um, he got me a couple of commemorative official 20th anniversary. This is from back in the '97 of Star Wars.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying? So like a little piece from that time has Darth Vader in it. And it's got like history and all that from the original 3 movies that most people like, because nobody likes the prequels or the last few that came out. So he got me that. He got me a second one, a special edition. It's all good. Explore the complete saga.
Oh,
You know what
no.
I'm saying? More Darth Vader goodness here. You know what I mean? So he sent me that. Oh, Fargate. You know what I'm saying? I got my man Darth Maul on this issue too. You know what I'm saying? I love me some Darth Maul. You got the man there, Lucas, with that C3PO and all that. So awesome little thing. I'm gonna go through them and read them. Also, he sent me some Avengers Entertainment. I'm gonna show which one's later than the other one. I don't care, whatever. This is before, I guess, around the time Endgame came out. So it has Chris Evans. So this my lady's gonna steal this one from me. Yeah, she says that's hers. It's not mine anymore. This one belongs to Maria. So this is Maria's book now, because she loves her some Captain America. Chris Evans. You know what I mean? That one and another entertainment. There's a lot of controversies towards this movie, but I really enjoyed it, and I love Brie Larson in it. Captain Marvel cover. I think she looks fantastic on this cover. I think I enjoyed it for the most
I
part.
liked it too. I don't know why people did.
Yeah. There's a whole thing like Captain Marvel
there's
should
a
have been
whole-
the guy first and all that. And,
Yeah.
which I understand.
You can't have
I
everything,
understand.
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
Get off my lawn, people. You know what I mean? But I love this. I love her, so I love the cover. And this one I showed Star Wars before, but I had to show this one late because I really like this one. Queen Amidala from the prequels. I know a lot of people don't like the prequels, but I did enjoy the prequels for the most part. The pod racing was a little too long for me, but I thought I loved that part with
Oh yeah.
you know what I'm saying? No, I can't even point now, but you guys know. The pictures in it, but I enjoyed this little AOK he gave me. Thank you, Fargate, for that. I appreciate it. And we were talking, and Phable, this is hashtag blame Phable moment for me, because I saw it. I finally saw it in the stores. He showed it for us on his show, but I had to show it. And I think I showed this on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's cool.
we got the little Corvette guy from that flies. You know what I mean? And I remember I liked it so much that I saw the episode the other day. But Kingdom of War Cybertron, I never really seen it on Netflix yet, but I'm gonna get there. You know what I mean? So I got this. So Fable, this is your fault, man. Your fault. This one came in the other day. I'm upset that I didn't get the Dark Side, but hopefully they somehow cancel it. Amazon loves canceling stuff. But I got the Snyder Cut Justice League Superman up in here. So yeah, I know it's DC, Sam. I know it's DC, but it's
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Whoa. Whoa.
I think we lost him.
But he will be right back because this always happens.
Oh, okay.
So he'll be right back.
So did you feel a little like shortness of breath when he was showing a DC character?
I felt my heart rising up, and then So
hello again. It was
This
just
is
about
what
that time
happens
where
when you mention DC. You get knocked off the internet.
Yes.
Sam had the power to knock me out. You saw that?
I conjured up one of them evil wizards from the Conan books. Yeah.
But I know Favor likes Superman, so I'll show it real quick and then I'll put it down. Sam, don't kick me out again.
Okay, I'll try not to.
Everybody knows I love wrestling, and I saw her. She's from Queens, New York. So I currently reside in Queens, New York. I'm from Brooklyn, but she's Puerto Rican, so I love my Puerto Rican. So I had to get me a Selena Vega. You know what I mean? The wrestler. Yeah, I love me some wrestling. So when I saw it, I had to get it. You know what I mean? It's her first elite figure. I don't know if they'll ever make another one, but she did come back to wrestling. So,
Yeah.
one of the rare ones, if you could find it, because now they're very expensive. I got it for a deal. So here you go. Got her. So
Herm, do you open the packages?
no.
Okay.
As you see my thing, I barely
So you'll
open
never
them,
get
but
to put that dress on her.
I'll never get to enjoy
You
that
just have
part.
to
No.
imagine what she looks like in that dress.
Yes, imagine. Yeah, I'll keep it there though.
We need
I
to
won't
get
go
you
first.
2 copies, one to open and play with.
There you go. There you go. Maybe I'll find. I like how you think there. It's just, I can't afford to get 2 copies, but maybe one day, if I see it again, I'll probably get it again, just so I could
Maybe you'll
do
find
exactly
it
what
at
you
a thrift store.
There you go.
I love Halloween, so I just show the little peeps. You know what I'm saying? Can't wait to eat. You know what I mean? Little pumpkin peeps. You know what I'm saying?
And are you
I
going to
got the
wait a
first
whole
one.
month before you eat those?
No, I'm eating these right after the show. You know what I mean? I'm still hunting for Frankenstein. I don't know. I'm not gonna keep it, but they're missing Frankenstein.
I need
Man.
to get that those Halloween cereals that are out.
Oh, do you have special Halloween, sir?
Oh,
Yes.
and that's the last but not least,
Oh, he
Monster
has
Ranch
one.
cereal. Don't worry, Sam. I do that to Phable all the time on his shows. Every time this and this, and I come up with exactly what he's talking about.
Wow.
You know, Phable. But yeah, this has supposedly marshmallows and stuff from all these different 50-year anniversary of the monsters like Dracula, the Boo guy, the Wolf,
You mean
the
Chocula?
Stackenberry guy.
Yeah, Chocula. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember the
What's
Mummy
the
guy.
mummy called?
I forget. Yeah,
I forget too.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. He hasn't been around. Oh, Yummy Mummy, 1988. I remember that. I was, yeah.
Oh,
So
I could have sworn he was
Dracula.
out
It shows
before
everything inside.
1988. Seems a little late.
Yeah. Past
Yeah.
my time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't last long though, cause he didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't see him a whole lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't remember
Only
what the
remember
flavor
them
was
from my
like.
childhood. That's it.
1974 was the Fruit Brute, which I didn't get to get him a
Yeah,
lot.
I
You
don't
guys
remember.
might.
Yeah, he
I
must
don't
not
know
have
if you guys
lasted
remember
long.
that.
No.
Yeah.
And
Blueberry
mostly I remember
still
Frankenberry
around.
and Count Chocula.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Blueberry.
And the
They're still the
Blueberry,
survivors.
yeah. Yeah, Blueberry.
Yeah. So those are the ones that come out now. But I had
That's
it. My
very
lady
cool.
got it for me. You know.
Excuse me.
I'd
I love
probably
me
go into sugar shock
cereal.
if I ate it,
Ah.
but it's very cool.
Yeah, a lot of people saying too much sugar. Fargate live on cereal. Herm lives on cereal. I do live on cereal. If there comes a day where I can't have it no more, I'll be like, no! I found a way. I'm a serial killer, yes. But that's it for me.
Serial killer.
Serial killer right here.
Lock up
I
your
used to have this
cereal,
shirt.
people.
Lock up your cereal. I'll get your cereal. Not that Robbie's not the only serial killer out there. And that's it for me. Now it's time for our fellas. So I give you guys the floor, whoever wants to go first. You know what I mean?
This guy right over
Okay,
there.
so I mean, mine is not nearly as interesting as Herm's, but I do have one very interesting thing from Kickstarter. I recently got
Oh wow.
this giant-sized Nexus, which again is for us old guys who are into the Bronze Age. Or, well, this is from the 80s. But Steve Rude and Mike Barron are still occasionally making new Nexus stories.
Hey,
And
Steve the Dude Rude.
Steve the Dude Rude,
Yes.
one of the best
Yes.
artists of the 80s,
Yes.
from the indie comics.
Nice.
He's done a little work for Marvel, a little bit
some
for DC.
miniseries here and there and stuff. Yeah.
So I like to support him on Kickstarter because he's one of my favorite artists. It is an expensive way to go. And this book, I'll lean it against Sam a little bit. Has a like a 100-page Nexus story, which I haven't read yet. I'm looking forward to reading it. That was originally published at this size. It's supposed to be like a newspaper Sunday comic strip. So at the end of each page, it says continued or next. This will happen or that will happen. And then so that they could make a big hardback and sell it to suckers like me, they include all the pencils. And you get all the pencils of the entire story, which are you know, for an art fan like me, it's very cool. And then afterwards, you get the inks without the colors, so you get the same story 3 times. And as Sam can tell you, this book is not light.
No,
it is hard to hold up here. But so I'm very happy with this. I'll be reading it soon. Maybe I'll make a video about it when I finish.
Sweet. Heck yeah.
And I'll get in
Can't
better
wait for
shape.
the video.
yes, you're
Yeah, deadlift. Who needs deadlifts? You got
pumping
that
iron,
book.
you're pumping books.
And then at the shop today, I got Thor number 17. I'm really enjoying Donny Cates' Thor. I thought, you know, after Jason Aaron, it would be hard to follow up on it, but Donny Cates is doing a good job.
Yeah, man, that really is a hard to follow Jason Aaron's awesome run, but he's doing a good job. I agree.
And then, since I've showed a Marvel, I need to show a DC just to give Sam some pain. I'm getting
Stephen
Batman
M wanted
Detective.
to see the DC stuff. Stephen M right here. Steve M wanted
Batman
to see DC
the
stuff.
Detective by Tom Taylor and one of the Kuberts, Andy Kubert. It's been pretty good.
It's good, yeah. I enjoy that. I got to read that one, but it's good.
Yeah. I'm kind of on a hiatus of Batman, so I think that's the only Batman I'm reading right now.
Okay.
I kind of burnt out on Batman for a while.
don't blame you.
Parasomnia, if that's how you say it, is a Colin Bunn comic. I think this is the last issue, number 4.
Really?
It's
Cullen
been a
Bunn's
pretty-
a new guy? Is that a new guy? I'm joking. I'm joking.
Colin Bunn. Colin Bunn
Yeah,
is
he's everywhere. Yeah, exactly.
He is everywhere. And then they just came back with Matt Fraction and the Dodsons doing Adventure Man, which is an Image comic.
Okay. I keep hearing how good it is. I got the first 2 and I stopped getting them, but I'm gonna have to like pick up the other issues I'm missing.
It's cool. It's a little bit confusing. So I'm hoping I'll understand it more as more issues come out. I'm getting Mr. Miracle because I love the Kirby creations. But this is a different version of Mr. Miracle. I think he's in a different universe than the regular Mr. Miracle. And this is unusual. This is from Titan Comics. It's issue 1 of Gun Honey. And I think I can't remember why I ordered it. I think it's kind of a sexy film noir kind of story.
I wonder why I ordered it.
Well, this is what the rest of Sam's house looks like. We never see it on video, but right?
Well, we're working on it.
And Gru meets Tarzan. Like we said before, this was kind of a big week. I think I got 13 comics. Gru's Meet Tarzan has been okay. I'm a big Gru fan, but it's not the best.
It's a miniseries.
It's a miniseries, yeah. And a new comic from Vault written by Peter Milligan called Human Remains. Peter Milligan's a writer that I always try whatever he's doing. Nice. Issue 5 of Berserker. However you pronounce that. I think they're going to take a break after this. I'm not sure. I wonder if there really will be a movie from it someday. The latest Usagi Yojimbo, which is one of my favorite comics these days. And Out of Body from Aftershock, which is another Peter Milligan comic, so that's why I get that one. It's kind of a psychedelic mystery. And this was from last week, but it didn't come in last week. A Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow.
Yes, I'm enjoying that one. Tom King doing a good job.
Tom King, right? And it's really great art by Bilquis Evely. And last but not least, the second issue of Echolands, which is this weird comic that is sideways. Have you seen that one?
I don't have it, but I've seen it.
What is happening here? I'm confused.
This is the artist that became famous for doing Batwoman a while back.
That's
This
a
is
nice
like
cover,
another
man.
universe to me.
Yeah.
What's happening?
He's a really wild artist. J.H. Williams. Anyway, and he wrote it too, I believe. So that's all my stuff. Turn it over to Sam.
Hey.
Ooh, that looks fat.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Awesome cover.
Yeah, I love that cover, man.
You know?
It finally ends. Nick Spencer run to the end where a lot of people are celebrating.
So good. I bought it twice. I don't know. I bought it twice.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why.
Maybe you'll read it twice.
Yeah, probably will. And then I had to get this from last week, Moon Knight #3.
Moon Knight #3.
You got this character, Hunter's Moon. He is a.
I've only read issue 1. Have you continued to be good? Well, you've only been.
It is Moon Knight is rising very well.
Oh,
and,
good.
I think
the moon rise.
I think I think the moon is going to hit him like a big pizza pie. Yeah. Anyways, we have Miles here. You know, right?
Nice cover.
It's going to take me a long time to get used to that outfit.
Suit, right?
Yeah. That looks very
hopefully
sloppy.
won't last too long.
It looks like he's just tight. He's trying to keep that together. You know, it looks like was like his like a bigger relative's clothes. He doesn't quite fit it very well or something. I don't know what's going on.
Is this his anniversary?
Yes, it's his 10th anniversary.
Wow.
And of course, I had to get the Thor.
Nice.
Because you got to keep up with that, right?
Of course.
Yes, of course.
Thor is almost Conan.
Sometimes, yes. And of course,
Yes.
Something's
Something is killing the children.
Yeah,
Yes.
you got to keep up with it.
My favorite indie.
My daughter is not happy with that title.
Uh-oh.
All she knows is the title of the comic. She said, well, why don't they do a comic called Somebody's Killing the Adults?
Oh.
Yeah.
I told her they do that in every comic.
Yeah, they do.
Guess what? Nonstop Spider-Man is stopping, and they're going to be starting.
Stop it.
They're going to be starting with another
title,
I guess, later on. And if you
have you liked Nonstop?
Well, if it would stop, stopping, maybe I would enjoy it more. But I don't. Yeah, I don't know. We got the Marvels. This has been a fun little ride.
That's a really nice
very
cover,
interesting. Too. Alex Ross with these covers. You know, it's been fun.
He always bribes me with his covers, man.
Kurt Busiek.
We want to get
Kurt
him more.
Busiek, yes.
Yeah, who I have run into in the past at Excalibur down the street.
You ran into him?
That's his store.
That's it.
And
No,
when
wait a
I've gone in
minute.
there, Debbie has introduced me.
Yeah.
He doesn't own the store. Sorry, that's where he gets his comics.
Yes.
Excalibur.
Yeah. I know Brian Michael Bendis has been in there too.
Brian Michael Bendis visits every store.
Now he does, yeah.
I've seen him at different stores.
That used to be just his store, and now he kind of mixes around, I guess. So we got the United States. This came out last week, I know.
Is that an anniversary too?
No,
80th.
The United States.
80 years.
Well, yeah, it's Captain America's 80th or something like that. Yeah. We got some Extreme Carnage, Omega.
Extreme
and Omega.
Yes. So there you go. And for those people who don't have a heart attack, but I got a DC book, people.
What?
Look at that.
A nice house on the lake. Yes.
But there's no
that's
Superman.
a reprint.
This is the third print of that.
Of the first cover.
issue.
Oh, the first issue.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah. So that's
is that a spec book for you?
No, actually, I've actually been wanting to read it.
Yeah,
so.
it's good. I think
Sam specking.
No,
Sam
not this one. Not this one. So that's it.
Yeah, nice show, guys. I enjoyed all that. I love show and tell. It's my favorite out of the whole night. Man, this was a ball, guy. I don't even want to let anybody go, but I gotta get ready for the next show. And you guys, I guess gotta do your thing. Maybe get some food. I don't know if you ate already, but
Yeah, we're heading towards dinner time, aren't we?
Yeah.
On our coast.
Even for you guys, even for you guys, it's almost. Phable said, "Great haul, fellas." Two Gun Pew Pew, and he get to do that earlier. Thanks for joining us.
All right.
Anybody? Stephen M. Thank you, Fargate, for chiming in. Nova 69, Chamorro Cinema, star of the next show. We're gonna have a big one over there coming up. You know what I mean? I hope I didn't forget anybody. Nova 6. I just said 62, of course. Anybody I missed? Thanks for joining us. If you're watching on the rewind, hit the thumbs up, guys. Hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Ding, ding, ding that bell for notification for future videos, so you can see me, Sam, and maybe more special guests in the future like this awesome fellow over here, Damien, Sleepyreeder 666. Thank you so much for coming on. This was so much fun. Conan the Barbarian, I already loved him. I love him even more now. You made me a fan even more.
Cool.
Now I'm gonna go get some of my older issues, and maybe save up for that Todd McFarlane cover I don't have anymore. Because I used to have it.
You probably know I'm a big fan of this show, so it's a thrill for me to be on it. I watch you and Sam every week.
Oh, thank you.
And
Thank you.
as often as possible live when I can. Yeah.
It's very nice.
I love doing shows with Sam. Sam, I'm always going to thank you for just doing shows with me. Because this is our show. I don't know about yours, but this is my flagship show when I do a show with you. And I always appreciate you here on Whiplash Wednesday, which, of course, I enjoy doing. And, of course, quick rundown, Blame Phable show. He had a fantastic final show on Whiplash Wednesdays. There were onions being cut, allergies happening. I don't know, a lot happening in that show. A lot of guests was in there between myself and Roscoe. My man Missing Link was with us too. Sheena was in there. If I missed you, I'm sorry. There was so many online trying to get in the show. We ran out of time and went over a little bit. So I had to mention my man TM Nerdy, Nick Kicks and Comics. Watch that on the rewind if you haven't watched it. I have to watch the first 15, 16 minutes because we were trying to wrap up the other show. But, it was a very sentimental show and all that. So I'm sure TM's okay with it this week. But next week, there's no excuses. Oh, yeah, there's no next week. But Blame Phable show will be back better than ever. Nights in the future. At least that's the plan. Love you, Phable. Thanks for having me on your show always. And then of course, Nick, I finally got your thing in there. He does 2 videos. He does one for the Cadet Comics, of what's coming out, plus the toys are my favorite part, the toys, and then that whole video right here. And then later on in the week, he has the Nick at Night where he reviews what he got in the whole video, which is one of the best. I'm not just saying it because I'm biased. Check it out, guys. If you haven't, his link will be down below. If you haven't checked out my man Nick, great reviews of not spoiling, because I try to do that and I'm ready to spoil the heck out of the comic. You know what I mean? It is not easy doing non-spoiler reviews, and that man knows how to do it. You know what I mean? So thank you, sir. And I think next week, Missing Link and Brandon, Comic Kings, talk about a youngster, the 21-year-old or 20, whatever, 15-year-old, whatever his age is. He's going to be with Missing Link, and they're talking about Brian Michael Bendis before his Superman run. You know what I'm saying? Put some respect in his name, Ultimate Spider-Man, all that other stuff he does. My man Link is a fan of, like me, of all his early stuff. He's going to do me justice. I think Brandon, too. I think he likes some of his stuff, too. So check that out next week. That will be next week. And then, of course, tonight will be the what? Backlog Bros? What is that? I don't know what is that still, but a lot of us, TM Nerdy, Missing Link, Nick Comic Culture, One Collection Down, Phable, JT, myself, Brother Joe, Bobby De La Ghetto, Taqi, Eric the Stash, Comic Kings, hosted by tomorrow, and of course Dylan, that son of a, he's gonna be there too, hopefully. And I'm pretty hyped up. It's just too much emotions today because I got to do this show with you, Damien and Sam, and I got to do that show before, and then this later, all over the place. Of course, I wanted to mention on Thursday, I usually don't mention this, but on the Rock and Robbie live show, we have 2 members of the Bad Batch, Dick and Chamorro. They're going to be going over with two members you guys know, the comic crew. Oh. You know what I'm saying? Jeffer and Bueller. You know what I mean? So I figure I meant, yes. And Cerebros too, with Robbie, and they're going to be doing the best comics of the month. So check that out tomorrow. I think it's 6 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern. Just they'll announce it. That should be fun. I usually don't.
Yeah, it's almost October.
Where the month goes.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I can't believe October is my favorite month, so I can't wait.
Yeah.
But, of course, I have a haul show tomorrow, 4 p.m., my usual time. Before that show, check it out. What I got today was a busy week. It was the biggest week of the month. I got yelled at already. I'll probably get yelled at again. And real quick, if you haven't seen it, of course, I don't want to embarrass Damien, but I got my A-OK from Damien. I have that video. If you haven't seen it, watch it on the rewind and all that. I enjoyed making that video. Thank you so much for that. And Sam, next week, do you remember what we're doing next week?
Well, I believe we're going to be finishing up the Nick Spencer run on Amazing Spider-Man.
Yes. And that villainous Sam Spencer. He's such a villain. That brother of Nick Spencer. You know?
maybe he can redeem himself in the end.
Maybe. You know. So yes, next week we were discussing. I think the last issue of the Sinister War,
yeah.
And then the next 3 issues of Amazing Spider-Man,
yeah.
all bunched in one. We can't wait to go through it. We had fun, and we're all caught up. That's what makes me excited.
Yeah.
So now we can do the current Spider-Man stuff when Kelly Thompson and all them.
Yeah, that's coming out next week. So, 75.
Yeah. So there you go. But we probably won't discuss that one till the next month.
Yeah.
You know, next month or something, because I have a whole line of ideas for October with my man Sam. I got to discuss it with him. I have some new ideas and all that. So the month of October is already
discuss. Let's marinate in this. Yes.
And before I go, of course, you guys have anything going on this week?
Well,
start with Sleepy.
Every week I put out my comic book countdown where I tell you my thoughts on what I've got this Wednesday. But I don't know what day that will come out. Probably Monday is usually when it comes out, this coming Monday. And then every Sunday, I'm part of a chat with some older people who've been on YouTube longer than most people. So some of my friends from
people, very experienced,
9
very
or 10 years
knowledgeable.
ago have all been on YouTube. And it floats between our channels. So this coming Sunday, we're going to be chatting about just stuff we've read recently on a channel called La Raza. So people can look for that. Or maybe I'll send you a link later and you could put it in the notes or something if you do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
send me the links, any links. Yeah. Go ahead, Sam.
Oh, I was going to say, I got my Out in the Nature. That'll be coming up here possibly tomorrow. Hopefully, if it doesn't rain too much.
Right, the rain has been threatening lately.
Yeah, it's been threatening a little bit. But and then Friday is my Ever Loving show, and we might have some special guests and some surprises. You'll see. So.
That's a must see.
Okay. Yeah.
Always have fun on that show with you, Sam. The Ever Loving show. Everybody's gotta check it out. Links are always down below for Sleepy and everybody. Sleepy, send me those links. Anybody, I'll add it to this, and I'll add it to my whole. I have a whole link of people, friends, and all that. Not just the Bad Batch. So everybody, have fun tonight on the Chamorro show. Check them out. It's literally in 10 minutes. They're gonna come on. I'm gonna be on there real soon. Against guys, Portland Comic Crew in the house. Thank you so much. These guys are here today. The next couple is going to be tomorrow of the Portland Comic Crew, except for Bob. But it's all right, Bob. We love you. You'll be on the next one. And guys, man, have a great night. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your new comics. You guys just showed a lot, so you guys got a lot of reading to do too, just like myself. And till next time, guys. Peace out. Station. Oh, there, you guys know I take forever to say goodbye because I just love you guys. And
Station.